Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. We will get things started and hope the other person join, especially those whose images are being judged. All right, let me just start with a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for this another evening, another opportunity for us to meet together as a society and discuss, grade, and review images that we submitted. Pray that you guide and protect us and give us the wisdom and understanding to take the feedback that is given to us on these images and take them to our betterment. These mercies we ask in Jesus' name, amen. All right, so this evening we have with us our guest judge, Fernandez Barrett, who will be judging this month's theme of Up in the Air. For those who may not know you, Fernandez, let me just ask that you give us a brief introduction.
Good. Hi everyone, how you doing? How you doing?
We're great, Fernandez. Good to see you.
Good to see you, man. Nice, 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 nice. Listen, firstly, I must say thanks for having me as one of your judges in one of your competitions. Okay, I'm humbled by that. I hope my feedback that I give will be of good help. But let me just talk a little bit about how I started in photography. I started in New Zealand in about 2011. And I started off doing landscape shots. I was involved in a lot of photography competitions. So it's interesting that Dwayne had asked me, because this was something that I used to enjoy a lot, going out, finding the subjects, finding the shots to enter, to print, and then to listen to how the judges handle the images. Sometimes it was brutal, but it was for my group or our group at the time. And sometimes you get that shot that is really, really good and you come home being a winner. So I started there with landscape photography, and then I moved into a little bit more of shooting people, shooting different ethnic groups. And because of that, I gained some really good skills in handling different skin tones and different facial structures and lighting scenarios. I also had divulged a little bit into macro photography. Didn't spend a lot of time on it, but if I'm asked to do it, I know I can go out and do a good job. But I did a lot in different areas of photography that gave me a good balance when it comes on to different genres, and I am really grateful. So when I come and look at this competition today, I hope that you will take it in a good way, and that next time, from what you have learned, that there will be some great stuff coming out of it as well. So Dwayne, so before I jump to that, so in present right now, I shoot a lot of weddings. I do a bit of corporate, and I do a bit of lifestyle as well. Every now and then I will do something in real estate, but not a lot. My main focus right now is around weddings. So I do quite a bit right there. And with weddings, it's just a high pressure area, but if you love it, then you can do a good job at it. So that's in a nutshell what I do. And I will tell you, I shoot with both Canon and Sony. One of my favorite lenses, 85mm lens, I would say one of my favorite. But I do have a different ones that I use, but I do love the compression of the 85. Dwayne, back to you.
All right, thank you, Fernandez.
Mhm.
All right, so before we start with the feedback on the images, let me just give a little slideshow, the compilation of the images. Okay, so those were our 15 submissions. So Fernandez, I'll bring the images on screen, and then you can you can provide your critique on the scoring.
Okay. All righty. Okay, everybody hear me clearly?
Loud and clear.
All right, fantastic. All right, so first I want to when I looked at this image first, I said I like the minimalistic thing about this image with the trails from that jet heading across the sky. However, when I looked at the title for the shot, a successful takeoff, I didn't get a successful takeoff from the shot. It didn't. This looked like a jet that is already in the air traveling at full speed. So I really didn't see the connection with the title. So if I'm thinking about a successful takeoff, I am thinking I would have seen might be a little bit of the airstrip and the plane going off in the distance. So the shot in itself didn't hold me for long. I looked at it and I zoomed into the shot as well. The shot was very soft. It wasn't sharp. It wasn't in focus. And I know that it's a plane and it's at a distant away. So it's not an easy thing to just get a sharp and in focus shot like that. However, you have to choose properly the choice of lens and the choice in terms of a proper shutter speed to freeze that moment that you can ensure that the shot is properly taken. So based upon that, I think also the composition in terms of how the shot was cropped. If it is cropped like this, I was wondering why the photographer did not move the or had the trails coming from the far bottom corner of that of the image, of the frame that is, and allowed that to just run across the image. I think that adjustment could have made it a bit stronger. So I know that this is shot against a blue sky, and if it's shot against a blue sky, the image needs to be a little bit more sharper too, because there's nothing much around that is holding you. So it needs to be tack sharp to hold you like that. And so the score that I gave for that was 5 for that one. Dwayne, you can move to the next one.
Is that 5 or overall or 5?
Overall.
All right, can you give it the breakdown?
All right.
When you're giving the scores as well?
1 second. 1 second. Let me just jump back to. Okay. So I guess there was so much of clarity in my doing, just for clarity's sake, right?
Yes, go ahead.
The maximum total, based upon the criteria, is it out of 30?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. All right. So what I did, I gave it a range out of 10. So I didn't do it according to what you had here. So to break down it in terms of criteria, storytelling, technical excellence, or composition center of interest. So I'm gonna just see that I'm gonna see if I can just break it down quickly. So for impact, out of 10, I would give that a 1. It didn't have an impact for me. For technical excellence, I would give that a 2. The composition, I would give that a 3 for that one. So as I said, it needs to be, this is a competition, and it needs to be sharp, and it needs to tell story. It's minimalistic, yes, and it doesn't fit the title, as you said, as the person puts it, a successful takeoff. I reckon if you had like gone to the airstrip and get that shot of the plane going off into the distance, that would have like totally fit that title. You can move to the next shot you're doing.
Sorry, Fernandez, so the total is 6.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so this one was interesting. It had me going for a while because I know the theme was up in the air. And however, this was, I reckon this is a drone shot, right? And I saw where aerial perspective is a part of it. I looked at the shot for a little bit, and truth be told, I like the composition. The composition is good. I like how that diagonal line from the beachfront that runs across like that. I do like that. I think the sharpness was on point. I love the colors from the boat. I questioned a few things though. And I wondered if, because the theme of the competition is up in the air, I was wondering if the photographer could have moved the drone a little bit lower to the right where that red boat is, and placed a little bit of that sky in the distance and composed the boat at a diagonal way to get that red boat as a foreground shot. So I thought about it that way, and I looked at what was there. I reckon this was more of the easy shot. It's right over from above, and it's flat on like that. The composition is good. The clarity is good. I like the texture of the water as well. But I think the choice of angle was too much of an easy angle. It needed to be something a little bit more to just give it that jump, you know, above what it is right now. So I like it because it's got good clarity, and I like the colors and stuff like that. But I think it was just too much of an easy shot. Like you just place a drone up there, look down, boom, you get the shot. It needed to have a little bit more. So for impact and storytelling, I think you did good on that in terms of the impact from above. I'm not gonna take that from you. You did good with it. I think the storytelling of the boats on that they're docked on the harbor area with these different colors tells a good story. I think this could also be a painting, meaning that someone could paint from this and get something really nice out of it. So for the storytelling, I gave this one a 5 out of 10 for storytelling. For technical, I dropped this one to, because it's not that technical. It's not that of a technical shot. The focus is good, as I said. The color, the lighting balance is good. So it was a little bit tricky to mark this one, because, as I said, the technical side of it, I wanted to see a little bit more of an angle out of the shot, more than just a top down. So because of the sharpness, the focus, the color, and the light balance, the exposure was on point. Out of 10, I gave this a 7. If you had just changed your angle just a little bit, I think it would have been just perfect. The composition was not bad either, right? The composition is not bad. Nice diagonal line, nice leading line upward to the boat. And I like the trees at the bottom kind of just pointing up. And those are the marks in from the seabed, just telling a nice little story. So for composition and center of interest, it hold me in the image. So I gave that a 7 as well. You got that?
Yes.
Fernandez, before you start commenting on the images, can you just remind us of the titles, please? Because
okay, so go back to that one. So that one was Beachside Harmony.
thank you.
Beachside Harmony. Okay. All right. Okay, good. Bird in flight. Okay. The first question when I looked at this image, because I'm looking at it on a big screen, I wondered what the photographer used to take this shot. And I am not sure if you have, like, for the competition, if you have a certain image size that should be, an image should be submitted to the competition. So when I looked at this image, it was really small. And also it was a little bit pixelated. It was of low quality. And just to say, this is a competition, so if you're putting out an image, it cannot be of low quality. And effort, when it comes down to competition, you have to put effort into going out to get the shot, not just a random shot. This is a competition, so you're going out to create, to find that theme that you're looking for. So when I look at this and I saw how small it is, because of that, it's already taken away from the image. And I also, when I look at the focus, it was really not in focus. It wasn't sharp, and I didn't like that horizon, that horizon running across the bird like that. I reckon the photographer could have gone a little bit lower and shoot with that sky and have the bird above that horizon. So that horizon running across the bird is a little bit distracting and has taken away from the shot itself. So for the theme, the title works well with it, Bird in Flight. Yes, it's good. But I just don't think that there was enough effort that was put into getting that shot, and it was of low quality. So for impact, I gave that one a 2 out of 10. For technical, I gave that one a 2 as well. And for composition, I gave that one a 2 as well. Now, if somebody is listening and said that might be a little bit hard, but I just want to reiterate, because I'm coming from how I started my photography. I started it from a competition base, and when something goes into a competition, it's scrutinized. It go through rigorous tests. So for this particular shot, sometimes I know you might have your phone and that's the only camera that you have on spot, but even so, you still have to ensure that the image is composed properly and it is tack sharp. And I want to add something to this as well. You see, when it comes on to shooting birds, it's a must that birds be tack sharp. Really, it's no if or maybe. They must be tack sharp. If you're not tack sharp, it's not going to go anywhere in a competition. It's going to be thrown out. So again, this 1, 2, for impact criteria storytelling, technical 2, and composition 2. And so that one is bird in flight. Okay. This shot, I like this shot. I like this shot. I'm gonna jump straight to a point. I like this shot, and this shot is birds. It's very rarely you see them like this. You have to be out, and when you see them, you have to be ready to catch them. They have sometimes some really good formation going across when they're heading back into their to where they rest. So it was good to see somebody capturing something like this. However, I find it that the composition or the cropping of the image could have been improved. So for this shot in particular, if you had made it into a square, you would have seen where the composition in itself got much stronger, right? One sec, folks. Yeah, the composition got much stronger when you crop it into a square, because right now nothing is happening for the bottom of the image and nothing is happening at the top. What's happening with this image is that from the lower left where the birds are moving forward, and from the top, you need to set up that composition that it carries you from that lower angle of the left where the last bird is, carry right up to the front, and that is where the story is. So sometimes you have to find that story into the shot. You don't, even if you take this image this particular way, you still crop into the image to find the story. And I think that is where this image lose points because of that, just because of the cropping. So right now, if I look at the image like this, the birds look a little bit lost in this imagery.
Recording in progress.
Yes, so it looks a little bit lost, but when you crop into it, you see how strong it becomes. And again, as I said, sharpness should be worked on for when shooting birds. And I'm seeing it over and over in this particular composition. I love the exposure. The exposure is on point. I can see that the sun is going down. It's not sunset yet, but it's going down because of the colors that I'm seeing on the clouds. I can see where the blues are really nice, not overly saturated, but just nice. And that little white of clouds. So the exposure is perfect. Just the composition needed to work on to make this one a bit stronger. So as for impact criteria and storytelling, you didn't tell the story that well. It could have improved on that, and I will give that a 5 out of 10 for that. 5 out of 10 for the storytelling. For technical excellence, focus, color, balance, and lighting, I think you nailed the exposure on point. The sharpness wasn't on point. The focus wasn't on point. It still was a little bit out of focus. The colors were nice. So I will give that a 6 out of 10. And for the composition, as I said before, the composition could be improved. And I think that is what really brought this down a bit. And I'm giving that a 6 out of 10 as well. I reckon if that composition was stronger, even though it wasn't so focused, we could have reached with that in particular about an 8 out of 10 if we had a better composition on that. You can move to the next image, okay?
So confirm the last one is 8?
No, 6, and 5. I'm just saying, based upon if the photographer had composed the image much better. It could have been a stronger image. You can, when you get a chance, you can look at it. You can just put a square on it, and you will see the impact that image give you when you put it like that. All right. So this one is bottoms up. All right. So I don't know this photographer. I don't know the level where you're at, but I'm a little bit disappointed in this particular shot. One, you have to remember what is the theme for the competition. So when I looked at your title, bottoms up, I looked around the image firstly to see what exactly, because I did not see the bee at first. I thought that little thing in the middle right there was something from the center of the flower. I had to go back to the image for a second time and look at it to see what exactly the photographer, or the story that the photographer is trying to tell. Now, why I say I'm disappointed is that, firstly, bottoms up. The bee is lost in this image, lost, totally lost. The bee is supposed to be the focus of this this particular shot, but there are too much things happening in this image. So sometimes you have to simplify the image. I also found this image to be a little bit overly saturated, even in the blues and in the yellows, a little bit oversaturated, and it was not tack sharp. So let's see what could be done to improve this image. If you're looking at B, then what you have to look at is to simplify the image a little bit more, but you have to remember the theme of the competition. It's up in the air, right? So you might have to select another flower where the bee is on it, and you're getting something of the atmosphere of the sky in the background, and the bee is the focus. But there's too much things happening in this image that you don't know what to rest your eye on. But your title is bottoms up. So because of this image in itself failed in many ways. The story, it failed in composition, it failed in lighting, in exposure. There was not much happening for this shot at all. And I wondered about this shot in the sense that I wondered about the photographer. Is the photographer, what level you're at? Now, I'm hoping that this critique will help you to just improve when you go out. Before you take that shot, try to remember the story and the theme that you're going for. As I say, you might not have your DSLR, your mirrorless at hand, even if it's a phone that you're using. Ensure that it is on point, the composition is good, it's telling a good story, that you're sectioning your images sometimes to find the story in the image. Even when you take the first one, look back again and see how you could compose it differently to take the shot. So for this one in particular, for impact and storytelling, I give it a 0. For technicality, excellence, focus, color balancing, lighting, I give it a 2. For composition, I give it a 1. Center of interest, subject matter, 1. Right? So that is 1, 1, and 2. This, I am being generous in this shot because, truth be told, this shot did not work with the theme of the competition. And I don't think there's a lot of thought that went into this shot. It have to be. All right, I've always said to folks, right? All right, as a photographer, everybody's got a phone with a camera. But whatever you're taking as a photographer, it must be better than what the phone is producing. And the phones these days are producing some good stuff. So it's like it's more pressure on us to do better every time when we go out. So sometimes we have to slow down, think it through, and then compose and get the shot that you're going for. You can go to the next one, Dwayne. Okay, so this one is where am I? Okay. Dream flight. Okay. All right, so the first thing that grabbed me in the shot were the colors. I love the colors from the shot. I love the reflection that is on the wing of the tip of the wing of the airline, and it just comes right back on the wing. Beautifully done and captured right there. I like that leading line from the wing that's from the side that's going out leading out to the end of the wing. The whole shot in itself, I like the mood. Now, in saying this, so the composition is not bad, the mood is not bad, but technically, there are a few things that I looked at. The sharpness. This image is really soft. Like, I know you're shooting through a plain window, but that doesn't stop you from getting a sharp image. So you have to remember to check your focus when you're shooting. Now, this shot in particular, you would have been able to take a time to get the shot, because when you're in the air traveling, this lingers for a good while, unless the pilot decides that he's going to be landing and he's going to make a turn. But normally you will see this for a little while, so you have a little time to, if you're at the window, that is, if you're at the window, you can take a little time and compose your shot. So you have to remember to check your sharpness. So this is where this particular shot in it was marked down because of that. Because what marked it down was the sharpness. But I think in terms of the mood, the composition wasn't bad. The story that I got from that was really good. So as for impact, I think this particular image have a good impact in terms of if you were to sit down and look at it, it does give you a nice feeling, and I think the story from it is good. I think it could be a nice print. However, as I said, the sharpness of it is going to pull back on the strength of the image. So for the impact, I gave this a 7. That's the impact criteria and storytelling. I gave it a 7 because I think you caught the colors well. I think you caught the exposure really well. Even that little part where the sun is hitting the tip of the wing, I think it was caught well. It's not overly exposed. I think it's properly exposed, and so I give it a 7. As for technical excellence, focus, color, balance. All right, so this is a little bit tricky because the color is good and the lighting is good. So, but what is going to bring down this area is your sharpness. It was not sharp. It was not in focus, right? So I give this a 5. Okay. As for composition, it's not the strongest composition. because, all right, if the through the window, if you had just turn your phone just a little bit to the left, so that particular wing that's part of the wing that is coming from the plane that goes up to the thirds right there would have been stronger. So it would have been pointing to the right instead of pointing to the center. And then you have this dead space to the right that's doing nothing much. But if it was just pointing out a little bit to the right, it would have been a perfect composition, because then you would have that nice leading line going up to the third right there, and the colors coming across right there. But right now it's pointing to the center, and then because of that, there's a little bit, nothing much happening on the right side, even though the colors are there, but there's not much happening on the right side. And so because of that, you find it that you find that the image itself is like leaning over on the left-hand side, and it doesn't have a nice balance. So because of that, the composition, center of interest, subject matter, that will be a 6. Yeah. Dwayne? All right. So we are evening sky. Okay. All right. So, boy, you guys had me jotting down a whole lot of stuff back and forth. It's more than one time I had to go back through the images to think about them and put them through my thought process, you know. All right. So for evening sky, again, as I said, the competition, your theme, you have to remember that, or the competition title, you have to remember that. Now, when I look at this image, the first thing that jumps out at me was this bursting light from the sun that's coming at you with the sun rays and stuff like that. But your title is Evening Sky. But what is grabbing my eyes is the sun, that burst of the sun that's right there. So I am looking at this image and I'm saying that you have to try and simplify the shot sometimes. Okay. This sun right now is the center of the attention, but your title is Evening Sky. So that's don't really add up for me, because even the sky takes up a lesser section of the image itself. And to the left, there is this tree or branch that's coming up that is also distracting. So I'm here trying to now think how you could have improved on the shot. And I'm thinking that there's some nice rays coming from the sun. So why not just move a little bit away from the sun and use that tree that is to the left as a leading line with the rays coming through, and then use a little bit of that nice warmth coming from the sky to compose the shot. Or why not lower yourself down into behind these trees or shrubs that I'm seeing at the lower section, and turn the camera a little bit up more to the sky, that the trees are giving praises to the sky. So you have the rays coming through, but you can put the focus on the trees or the bush, whatever it is, and let it look like it's giving praise, like it's pointing up to the sky. So I find that this particular shot, in itself, the composition is weak. The story that you're telling is not strong. The exposure is not balanced. It's very overexposed from that sun right there in the middle right there. And I know if you bring it down, that the rest of the image is going to get a bit darker. So you have to try and find that balance, because right in the middle of that it's bright, and you have to try and find that balance where, okay, what what is going to be my focus, or what am I going to use for my foreground, or what is the subject matter right here? And as I said, if it's an evening sky, then I think you should have just lower the camera, let those trees point up to the sky, have those nice rays coming through them, and you would have been on your way with a really nice image. So for impact, this get a 3. Criteria storytelling, it gets a 3 because it didn't tell a good story. For technical excellence, focus, color, balancing, this gets a 2. Technically, the image is not sound. The focus, I'm not sure what to focus on in this one. What am I focusing on? Because you said it's evening sky, but the sky is not dominant in this particular image. And the composition, center of interest, subject matter is 2 as well, because I'm not sure what to focus on. Too much happening in the image. Too much happening in the image. I reckon if you also maybe just crop off a part of the image, maybe even find a better story. Yeah.
All right, just repeat those for me, please.
Pardon?
Repeat those scores for me.
I think I said 2 for composition, center of interest, 2 for technical. I think I said 2 for technical excellence, and I give the impact criteria storytelling, I give that 1. So it's, yeah, I give that 1 because it didn't tell a good story. It didn't have any impact. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Okay. So that is Flight of Fantasy. Okay. All right. So Flight of Fantasy. The first thing I'm going to start with for this particular shot, right? You could have played a little bit with this shot, meaning that 1, you could have made the sky a little bit more dramatic, but I'm going to start with the composition, because you have right now the plane is a little bit lower than the center, and then there is this soft cloud at the top there. But the composition, when I zoomed into the image, right, and I tried to place the image in the plane in a different spot. So what I did was I cropped off a little bit of the top, because the plane is flying to the right. I cropped off a little bit of the top to see if I could strengthen the composition just a little bit, and then just made the clouds a little bit more dramatic. And I was saying this could have been really good, but right now the composition is off because the plane is too far down, and then there's nothing much happening with the clouds at the top. If you had like made the cloud a little more dramatic at the top, maybe the cloud would have been pointing down to the plane. But right now, the plane is a subject, but I also zoomed in at the plane, and the plane is not sharp. It's really out of focus. So this image in itself, it didn't hold me for long, because I was trying to figure out what else could what else could be done to make it stronger. Yes, if you crop it and move it a little bit up to above the center, a little bit up to near to the thirds, I think it could have been a little stronger, even though it is not as sharp. But right now it's too far down. So you find it that it's like you have wasted space at the top, and it's not doing anything to complement that plane, that flight of fantasy. So So impact, criteria, and storytelling. I think you didn't tell the story so well. Didn't have a good impact. So that's a 3. For technical excellence, focus, color, balance, lighting. The lighting is balanced, right? The lighting, there are no issues on the lighting because I think it's because the sun is setting, so it creates a nice little silhouette on the plane. However, even though that is the case, the plane should be in focus. So lighting is fine. Center of interest, you could have made it a bit stronger to make the plane a little bit more interesting, to keep us in that image. So it's where you place that plane, why we're losing interest in the image. But because there's so much more that you could have done with it, even though it's a minimalistic shot, you lose interest fast from that. So for technical, I give you a 3 for that. For composition, center of interest, subject matter, composition could have been way stronger. I give you a 4 for that.
Nice.
All right. So this particular shot, right? I like the shot. I like the shot, but as I'm coming at this photographer a little bit in the sense that nothing personal or anything, please. But this particular shot could have been a winner. I like the light coming through the, I don't know what that is called, if it's that thing that he's gliding on. I like the light hitting it. You could see like a number or a letter in it. I like that. I like the cloud at the bottom right there that is hit by the sun, so you get the colors from that. But when this image is also very sharp. I love that. That is sharp. But when I looked at the image, the left top of the image, I find that there is not a balance in this image because of that left section. So what I did was I cropped off a little bit of that side. I wanted to see, and I made it into almost a square. Or you could have, I know you like that line coming from the left side coming up, but if that is the case, the person that is flying on this thing needed to come up a little bit more in the shot and give the back of it some more space. So that little part at the top there, which is just wasted, that just has nothing there, doing nothing at all, it is weakening the composition. But if you crop the image in itself and take off a part of the left of it, then the composition itself, you can put your hand right there or something that you're looking at, you will see that the composition becomes stronger. And then you will find that the flyer will be a little bit on the third, then you have that that balloon thing that is on a little bit more at the top, and it creates a nicer image. And as I said, for the technical side, if you had just moved your camera a little bit down and give this thing a little more space to the back, then I think you would have a honors image, really. But this is what's taken away from this image right now. Just a composition, how you compose the shot. The image is sharp, the lighting is good, nice silhouette. on the person right there. Nice colors coming through. The exposure is good. I love the sky in the background. Yeah. Just that composition that has thrown it off a little bit. If you had a bird or something at the top right there, that would have been a nice balance. That bird flying across, that would have been a nice balance. But that is the only thing that really pulled this image down. And as for impact and criteria and storytelling, I think you told the story well of the person flying. You just you needed to compose it a little bit better. And I gave this a 7. Right? As for the technical excellence, focus, color, balance, lighting, the focus was on point, the lighting was on point, the subject matter was on point, so technically you got the shot right. So I'm going to give you an 8 for that because you got the shot right technically. Even the lines I could see from this thing, nice and clear, nice and sharp. You did well on that. I don't give you a thing for that yet. So because of that, I'm going to give you an 8 for that. For the an 8 for your technical side of things. I think you did well on that. But based upon your composition now, that is what really pulled that down a little bit. You see that 8 could have been further in, but because of that composition, you got marked down because of that. But as for composition, center of interest, subject matter, I'm giving you an 8 on that as well. So as I said, this could have been a honors image, but it's just how you compose a shot that really why didn't get there. Okay, this is
Full flaps landing.
What's this one?
Full flaps landing.
Okay. Okay, good. 1 second. I just want to look back at something. Quick. Okay. All right. All right, sorry about that. I just wanted to just confirm something. All right, so for this particular shot. All right. This particular shot, your exposure is on point, right? Very much on point. And your composition is on point as well. Like the leading line from the boat that is pointing, that's carrying you right to the bird right there. Nice wing, the wings opening wide, just about to take off or land, whichever it is. This little red of the next boat, create a nice balance with the red on the next one. And the sky to the back with the lines is a perfect exposure. So only one thing that for this particular image is where you had your focus, right? Where you had your focus was not on the bird, but it was on the boat. Just a little bit where above Lucky Dada, just right there. So what is happening with this now, which is, I know it's not the boat that is the subject, but the bird in flight. The bird is not tacked sharp. I see where you try to sharpen it, but the bird wasn't tacked sharp. When you zoom into the shot, you find that the bird was a little bit soft. But when you look on the boat, you could see where the focus you missed focus right there. It was like a, it's like one of them shots that is like almost perfect. I like the shot a lot, really. I just wish you had just nailed that bird, that when you zoom into it, you see every detail on that bird. But it was very well composed, very well composed in terms of the entire shot overall. I could not find anything else to fault the shot. I think you did well on this one. The mood was good. The story, you caught the story well. I think in terms of creativity, I think you did well with the creativity on the side of it. I think you did well right there. But as I said, when you zoomed into that shot, you could see where even the feather details that should be there, I wasn't seeing the feather details. The eye of the bird wasn't in focus. The wing. So the next thing too is that the choice of shutter speed that you use for that shot wasn't fast enough, right? So for this one in particular now, as for impact criteria storytelling, I give this one, I think you did really well. I give this one a 9 out of 10 on this one. I think you caught the story really well, and you did well with the exposure and stuff. Technical aspect of it, the technical aspect you had good. It's just that you missed focus. So the focus was off, but color is good. Balance, the color balance, lighting was on point. I think you did good overall in this area. And just because of the your autofocus, I'm gonna give this a 9. Yeah. If you had us nail that focus, I would give it a 10. But I give it a 9. And as for composition, center of interest, subject matter, I give this a 10 for this one. I think the composition so far is one of the strongest composition that I've seen so far in the competition. So this could have been like an honors shot if you had nailed that focus. Okay. So this one is in full flight. And you know, a few birds come up in this competition. So you're gonna hear me say it again. Your shot needs to be in focus. This was not in focus. I could see some chromatic aberrations. I could see some dust spots in the sky as well. And your composition, the bird was too much to the left of the shot. So you have this, if the bird was just a little bit more over, the composition would have been stronger, right? But the bird is a little bit, and you have this section over to the right. It just need to move over just a little bit, just or what you could do is crop off a little bit of the bottom, and then it would kind of just strengthen the composition a little bit more. But in terms of on the technical side, your bird shots need to be tack sharp. That when you look at the shots and you zoom into the shot, and the wings and the eyes, everything is like crystal clear. Feather details, it's a must. So so for that, in terms of impact and storytelling, I give this a 5. For technical focus color, the coloring on the bird, I find it had a little bit of a magenta. I think the color is a little bit off on the bird. I reckon that bird is more on the brown side, but I see some magenta. So something happened right there in your coloring. So the color is a little bit off right there. And the exposure could have been a stop over. So right now you're a little bit underexposed and the sky is quite bright and blue. So I'm not understanding why you're exposed like that. So I think it could be a little like a stop up to give a little bit more light on the bird. So for that, I'm going to give it a 4. For composition, center of interest, subject, I'm going to give that a 4 as well. Okay. This one, all right, so this one, which is called Pot of Gold. Okay, so first thing first. You have this nice sky going for you, right? You have this nice sky going for you, which is really cool, and you capture this rainbow that is right in the middle of everything. And I'm looking at this image and I'm saying this could have been like a phone shot that was used to capture this image, because I find the image really and truly, it's not sharp, it's grainy, and it's noisy. So whatever you use to take the shot, I mean, at least you could have cleaned up the noise a little bit. I mean, there are so many things out there now that you can just use to clean up the noise in the image. And the next thing is this: you have this really nice dramatic sky that is going for you, but the composition in itself is a little bit weak, because the top level of the image needs to be cropped off, because it's not really doing anything for the image. The pot of gold, which is the rainbow, so just a little bit above that, where right now the third would fall right there, you would have cropped it right there, so you have the rainbow just under, and where the rainbow, the lower rainbow, the second rainbow bend, that would have fallen on the third, so it would have made the image a little bit stronger. And what you could have done is just to make the image also in your processing, make it a little bit more dramatic, because you have these nice formation from the clouds. You could have made this image a little bit more from dramatic in your editing, and give it a little bit of a boost, not taking away from it, but just adding to the story. So for your storytelling and impact, you saw the story, but I think you could have told the story much better. So for storytelling and impact, I'm going to give you a 5. For technical excellence, focus, color, balancing, and lighting, I reckon that you're using an auto setting for this. It just feels like it's not you punching the numbers to get the exposure that you want. So for technical excellence, focus, color, balancing, I'm going to give you a 3 on that, because I think this could have been nailed better. The focusing is off, it's grainy, it's noisy. There are a couple of things that are working there. If it's a DSLR or a mirrorless camera that is used to take this shot, I would have been interested to know what camera it is and why the image is so grainy and noisy. If it's a phone, I can understand, but it's daytime, so I don't know why it came out that way. Somebody would have to share that information with me. So as for composition, center of interest, and subject, could have been stronger. So I'm going to give you a 5 on that, because pot of gold, I can see the rainbow and everything like that, but just that top section of the image needed to come off to frame the image a bit much better, to just hold me into that shot from that stone edge that carries right around to the pot of gold, right around to the rainbow, and it's just hold it right into the image right there. That top section needed to just go. So Yes, I give you 5 for that. Okay, so that is sky high. Now, I got this image tonight, but I tell you the truth, I like this image. I like this image a lot. The silhouette, and it's kind of similar to the next image that's in the competition. However, this one, I like the I think the composition is stronger, but it could have been much stronger based upon the story that you're telling. You see, I see the I know I'm not there taking the shot, but I see the foot of the person is a little bit out, and I don't know how long it was suspended like that for. But even if it wasn't suspended like that for long, even if they were together, it feels as if that the subject almost was about to step on the sun. So I was just thinking, was it possible that the photographer could just wait a couple more seconds and allowed the flyer to just move a little bit more closer to the sun, not too close, but almost like you're about to step on it. I mean, I know I'm pushing it a little bit right here, and I was just thinking that would have been perfect. But however, I think the composition is good because the sun is down further to the right, to the lower right, and it's got this really beautiful sky. Again, you could have made the sky a little more dramatic as well in your processing. I don't know how much you did to it, but however, I like the composition, I like the colors, I like the sun going down, I like the silhouette from the subject come in across like that. Even though this one has gotten this above the sun where it is this space right there, because of where the subject is placed and pointing, the composition isn't brought down because of that. It is still because the subject look like they're heading in the direction of the sun, in the direction of that space. So it balances off pretty good. So I think for technically in terms of I find this image also sharp, and I find the exposure really good. I look at the sun is exposed really well. Not many people know how to get that sun like that going down where it's round and nice. And I see the subject, as I said, is in focus and sharp, and nice clouds beyond the sun or to the left of the sun. It's really, really a nice mood, nice image, and I think it did good overall. So the impact criteria storytelling, I think you told the story well, you captured it well. I reckon, as I said, I'm kind of pushing you a little bit. I think you could have made it just a tad bit stronger, but I'm going to give you a 9. I'm going to give you a 9 on that for your storytelling. I think, as I say, you caught it really, really well. The technical part of it, focus, color, balance, and lighting, you're on point in that. The technicals, focus, color, balance, and lighting, I think all of that is really good. I can't find anything to mark it on that. So interestingly, I'm going to give you a 10 on that. For composition, center of interest, subject matter, the composition could have been a little bit stronger. I like the story though, but I think the composition could be a little bit stronger. Just that subject moving over just a little bit more would have made it. So I'm going to give you an 8 out of 10 for that one. All right. This one is Sky High is this one as well, right? Okay. All right. So I reckon this is taken from a plane, right? So I looked at this particular image for a while, and interestingly, when I look at this image, I was trying to trying to rest my eyes somewhere to let me just settle in this image. So I couldn't really find where to rest my eye, because in this particular shot, I could get more than one shot in the shot. And so I think the photographer could have like really simplified the shot a little bit more and choose something out of this particular shot to tell the story. Like at first, at the lower section of the shot, there is a section of the cloud where it's peeping through, looking at the landscape and the city beneath. There, right there, is one shot. And when I section that just down a little bit more and take off the sky where the horizon is, that is one other shot that could have been looked at as well. Or if you just take out the middle of the shot and focus on the landscape through the clouds, there's another shot as well. So I reckon that this particular photographer needed to just to look again at the area and see what exactly the story that he wanted to tell. Because right now, yes, you see this nice vast landscape under there, but you also see where you have this clouds further out that is also telling a little story. They look like if you zoom into them, they might be dancing in the sky. You have this little area that you're peeping through. So you really could have like simplified the shot a little bit more to hold us into the shot instead of looking around trying to find where to rest. And so for the impact and the storytelling, you didn't tell the story really well. You could have done much better on the storytelling right here. If you just slow down and just try to find that shot. And I reckon this was taken with, if this was taken with a phone, I mean, you can zoom in and you can do all sorts of stuff. So for impact criteria storytelling, I'm going to give this particular shot 4. As for technical, I wasn't sure what to focus on. The exposure is fine. The lighting is fine. But technical excellence needed some work. So because of that, I'm going to give you a 4 as well. Just never feel complete to me. The composition, yes, you have that line. It needed to be broken down a little bit more. So for composition and center of interest, subject matter, I'm also going to give that a 4. The image itself wasn't as sharp or in focus, or what was the focus? You get me? So I think, you know, this person in particular just need to work on what's the story that you want to tell, the subject matter, you know, simplifying things a little bit just to create a particular impact on the viewer. Okay, stormy weather. Okay, so firstly, the photographer here found the theme of the competition. You found the theme, but this in particular, I love this. I love the clouds, but your stormy weather. When I looked into this shot, there are sections of this particular shot where you could see in a distance the rain that is falling. I could see the rain coming in. But right now, when I look at the shot overall, it's not holding me, even though the clouds are really dramatic like that. I find it's a little bit oversaturated in the blues as well. You need to pull back on that blue a little bit. You push the blues a little bit too much. But what you could have done was to, again, simplify the shot. sometimes less is more. So you're showing a lot right here. Stormy weather, yes, but the storm is out there. The storm is out there where you could see where in particular, where the rain is falling. So if you could have like zoomed into that particular area with the clouds and stuff, and then that would have been perfect. But right now, you can have dramatic clouds like this, and there is no storm, right? So if you're telling a story of a stormy weather, this could be just a cloudy weather. It could be just a cloudy day, but there is no rain that is falling or anything. So we needed to really simplify this a little bit more and tell that story. So as for impact criteria storytelling, I give you a 5 for this. Yes, you capture the theme of the competition in terms of in the air, the sky, everything, but it still never give you that impact that you're looking for. Technical part of it, excellent focus. The image is sharp. I will not take away from that. The color was a little bit off because it's overly saturated, and I can see the exposure. The exposure is not. It's the exposure. I don't think the exposure is off. I see some areas of a little bit of highlights, but I don't think it's overly exposed. So your exposure is not bad. I think your exposure is on point. When I look further out and look at the highlights details, I think your exposure is good, and the shadow details in the clouds is good as well. So for that, the technical side, technical excellent focus color, because of your color, and it could have been your white balance. So I'm going to give you like a 6 for that. As for composition, you're going to get marked down for this because I don't think it's a strong composition. I don't think the composition holds me, even though the clouds are dramatic like that. It didn't hold me, didn't like, yeah, say, yeah, like, wow. No, I just see where you made the clouds a little bit more dramatic, but it just never grabbed me like that. So it didn't hit me like, you know, I'm a landscape photographer, and I know I've been out there, and I pride myself when it comes on to these things. So you have to, when it comes on to these things, you have to be strong. Your composition have to be strong. You understand me? And you see, like how you have that little wave that's coming in at the lower bottom of the shot. If you had also even used that as a part of the composition, right now the wave is there, but it's like it's too close to the edge, so it's not really creating a nice little balance in the image. So as for this, I'm gonna give you a 4 in this one. It needs a little bit more work to get it to where it needs to go. I think, is there any more? I think that's it, right?
Yes, that's the last one.
Okay. So all right. So in my view of this competition, what I want to say to the photographers is that, one, you need to put a little bit more effort into competing, meaning that you need to go out and create, look for that shot, and make an impact with that shot. Think about the technical parts of it, you know, simplify some of the shot. Sometimes you can go big and sometimes you can go small, but simplify those shots. Think about your subject matter, your shutter speed, your aperture. Think about these things, how it impacts the shot, right? Even if it's you're using your phone, as I said, the phones are really good these days, so you still can create really good images from your phone. But if you have your DSLR, if you have your mirrorless camera, use it. Go out and make it work for you. But if it's a competition, you cannot come in and put any little shot that you just pick up on the way. it's not going to sit well with a judge. And I was being generous in some of the areas, but it won't sit well with a really good judge when they're looking at some of these images. All right, so for example, if you were to print some of these images, when you print when I was in the photography society in New Zealand, what we would have to do is that the shots that we submit to a competition, we would have to also print the image. So the judge don't just look at that image on screen, but they look at the image on print as well. And if you want to know if your image is good, is when you also print it. You will see what is happening with the image as well. You will see a lot of flaws coming out of that. So I'm saying again, folks, it's a competition. You know, it should be fun, but you have to put a little more effort into creating. You understand me? That's where the joy is. When you come back and you put something out there, you should say, yes, it was well spent, and you would get good marks on it. But again, thank you for having me as one of your judge. I did enjoy going through the images, but I was at some point, like, I don't know the levels where folks are at. So at some point I was a little bit disappointed, because I'm saying that what I'm seeing here, if you're a part of a photography club and you're learning, you should be producing better than what I'm seeing. But again, I don't know your levels. You could maybe just join the club. So if you just join and you're just learning, try and do your research. There's a lot that is online that you can learn from. And I will say, you can take my number. If you want to call me up and ask me about something about photography, I am happy. And I'm always happy to share. It's not to put you down or anything like that, but it's to build you. Sometimes what I find in Jamaica is that sometimes when you critique a work for someone, people take offense, and it's not for you to take offense. It's for you to build on. When I went through my process, listen to me, it was rigorous, but I took it, and I didn't take any offense to it. I just used the negative to build and grow, and I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and I'm still pushing. Yeah, sometimes I do go out even every now and then for a little landscape shot, because that's where the love is. So I do go out, and I can talk to you a little bit about filters or all sort of stuff. So feel free, if you feel that you want to learn a little bit more, or you want me to share something with you around the technical aspect or something, just call me, and what I will give you information that I've learned over the years. Thanks again for having me.
All right, thanks, Fernandez. Appreciate the feedback. Let's hear from our photographers. The top three, starting with number 3, is Float On with 23 points. Is a photographer here and wish to speak a little about their image? No? Okay. In second place with 27 points, Sky High, Carla. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. You say something about the image. Yeah, well, this photo was taken in Negril, and they have a whole lot of boating activities, including the what you call it, the sky balloon thing. So I took quite a few of these, but this shot was one that kind of jumped out at me because of the color of the sunset I had options where you could actually see the colors because it's a rainbow colored balloon, but the one with the silhouette I thought had the strongest.
Okay, thank you for that. And in first place with 28 points is Full Flaps Landing. That's Gerard.
Hi, good night, everyone. Fernandez, thank you for your comments. I concur with your comments on my image 100%. This was taken on one of our trips to Old Harbor Bay. It was shot with a long lens.
Can we see this image?
A second.
Yeah, it was shot with a 200 to 500 millimeter lens. The shutter speed was 1/500, and I concurred, could have been a little faster. Typically, I shoot 1/800 for my birds in flight. So that's my usual go-to shutter speed for an image like that. So it was a little on the slower side based on the lens that I was using as well. Well, just enough, I would say. And using autofocus, I do agree as well that the wing on the right side of the image is a little blurred. I think that may have been due to some of the motion as well, but I agree 100%. We could have gone with a faster shutter speed to get this image just a little sharper. But thank you very much for your comments. And, you know, I concur with what you said. Your critique is really to help us as photographers do better and reach higher and further. So I hope no one this evening was offended in any way, but persons will take your comments positively and use encouragement to go ahead and do even better.
All right, thank you, Gerard. Anyone have any questions?
Gerard, where
our
did you take
comments?
this? Where was this photo taken?
This was Old Harbor Bay. We're along
Okay,
the beach. Yeah, it was Old Harbor
right.
Bay.
Okay.
I can just say something to you on this particular shot. As I say, it's really composed really well. When I looked at overall in terms of all the shots, this was the winning shot for me. Just I wanted to know because all right, you see, when I was in New Zealand, because I have the variety of birds and stuff, it would have been some really tight competition. So the bird would have to be either doing something like maybe catching a fish or something of the sort, not just to just snap a bird like that, or in flight, just like how you got this one right here. But as mentioned, that bird will have to be like really tack sharp. So you see, like how you have the wings open up like that. You see that all those feather details underneath, those would have to be like really tack sharp. When you look at it, you can see the separation in terms of the feather, and also when you look into the eyes of bird, you could see like even the catch light and stuff. But again, I think it was well composed, well, nicely done. Just that little bit that would have just taken away from it. Like, keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions or comments for Gerard? Sorry, not Gerard, Fernandez.
So Dwayne, if we can go back to the second place. That's the one with the that's the one in the grill, right?
Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, good. Yes, and I heard you say you would have taken like a series of shots. And
Yes.
I wondered if in the series of shots if you had gotten anything where it was just a little bit closer to that sun.
No, that was that was the closest one
Closest
that I actually captured.
Yeah.
The others were further away and didn't have as much of an impact.
Okay, but this was really well done. I love the shot, and so I keep coming in tonight. But I love the shot, and I like how you tell the story. I don't know what your process is when you edit the photo as well, but also you can play a little bit with the contrast a little bit more into the sky to bring out
Okay.
a little bit more of the drama that's sitting right there looking at you. So if you see where the sun is going down, you see like even where the sun is peeping through the clouds, right?
Mhm.
In the distance, you will see the oranges peeping through. You could play a
Mhm.
little bit with that a little bit more to make the image a little more impactful. Yeah, because remember, in the
Okay.
end of the day, it's your story, it's what you're telling, but you
Mhm.
also can pull out some of the things that are already in the image as being seen. So you can pull out a little bit more of the drama that is right there that surrounds all that sun and the person that's on that balloon thing going down. But I think you captured it well, because there's a
Right.
little bit of a haze. There's a little bit of a haze that I'm seeing, and I think that haze could have been taken down just a little bit, and you would have gotten a little bit more details in the clouds. You can try it and see how it looks. And you see how the image just be a little bit more comes out a little more punchy.
Okay. The one thing I'll point out is that I did do this wasn't the only edit I did. I did several other ones, but what I found was when I did the adjustments, the colors of the balloons started coming out, and I didn't want that. I wanted more of a silhouette effect, which is
Okay.
why I kept it that way.
All right. So what you can do, right? You see in Lightroom.
Mhm.
Do you use Lightroom, by the way?
No, I don't.
What are you using to edit?
Photoshop elements.
All right, Photoshop Elements. All right. So even if you're using Elements, or what you can do in your, do I have Photoshop open? Blah 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 blah. I don't have it open. What you can do, I was trying to find something quickly just to explain. But you can go to the particular color. See, that is Photoshop, because you can separate the colors in Photoshop. You can go to the particular color. So that orange from the sky, from the sun,
Right, right.
you could go into that color and then play with the curves for that color, and you can see where the image start to change a little bit, and you see more details in those areas.
Okay.
All right.
Doing the next person is not here.
No, doesn't seem like you're on to that.
All right. So what I want to ask, is there anyone here that you think that how your image was judged? Do you think there was something that was said that you think you're in a disagreement with? I would love to know that. Is there anybody here with that feeling?
Well, yes, for me.
All right. So what was your image?
Mine was the bird that came out small, and I don't know why it's small because I sent it in big.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So I was so shocked to see it so small. I was very upset.
Yeah, man, it's really, really small. It looked like
I don't know why. I don't know why it's small.
it looked like, when when you take a shot with it, back in the days when them bangers phone.
No, there I took it with my DSLR, and it was a big picture that I took at Port Royal.
So yeah, it's really small. Like it's just like a little square on the screen. Eh?
I don't know what went wrong with it. I
Yeah.
am not happy. I'm not happy.
Was it this one?
When you look at it, it's totally out of focus, so you can't really get any details on it. Or yeah.
Guess it's my tough luck.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else?
How did you
Angela,
export
put
it?
it here, exactly.
Pardon?
How did you export it? What were the settings?
Well, I would have to go back and look at it, but I had sent it in with the same one in the parasail a while ago that came in third. They came in together. So I would have to go back and look at it.
Yeah. Is there anybody else?
So the email attachment is 53 kilobytes. So you may have exported it at a lower resolution than what you had on the screen.
Okay, I'll go back and check on it.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
I have one more question if somebody is asking. I'm going back to it. The person that shot bottoms up, is that person here?
Bottoms. Oh. No.
Okay. The person that shot Dream Flight, is that person here?
Flight. Dream Flight was Belinda. I'm not seeing her online.
Okay. The person that took birds, that person here?
I'm here. Good night. This is Sherry-Ann.
Sherian. Sherian.
Hello.
Hello. So you heard what I said about the image, right?
And I agree. The cropping was bad.
Yes. Yeah. I think
Can we see the image? Okay.
yeah. So that one in particular, if you just made it a square, it would have been yes. Dwayne, what I want to ask, is there a particular size that is an image should be submitted at?
I believe the minimum was 2,000 pixels on the long side.
Okay. And the last one is a successful takeoff. Is that person here?
That's Angela Mitchell. Yes, she's here.
Angela?
I guess she moved away from her computer.
Okay. I would have loved to hear.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Angela.
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing, Angela?
I'm okay.
That is great. You can tell me about the shot because you said a successful takeoff. But tell me what you used to shoot this particular image and why you named it a successful takeoff. Dwayne, I don't know if it's working out.
I'm saying that I'm not really good at naming pictures.
Okay.
I took that picture right from my gate. I was standing right at the gate when.
What did you use to take it?
Pardon me?
What you used to take it?
On my camera, I had a 700. It wasn't very far up because I thought it was a bit low because another plane was crossing on the other side of the sky.
Right.
So I thought this plane had kind of slowed down. It was right overhead because I live right in the part of airplanes.
Okay. Okay.
So that is why you see it like that. So I had a continuous shot. So I just chose one out of a lot.
So when you're taking shots like this, right? I know it's a far away, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just have to ensure that you check your aperture and your shutter speed that you use it to get shots like this, right? Because when you zoom, because it's so far away, you have to ensure that you nail the focus and that backed up your aperture.
Okay. But if I was quick, I wouldn't catch it.
Huh?
If I was quick, I wouldn't catch it. It would have gone.
Oh, I know, and I understand that. But well done as well.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Dwayne.
All right, thank you, Fernandez, sharing some of your time with us. All right, if there are no other comments, I'd like to thank everyone for coming to the meeting and also sharing your time and being here with me. Do have a good rest of the evening, and a reminder that the next team motion blur and that you publish on next Monday. All right, enjoy the evening and have a good day.
Come on,
Good
you all.
night. Good night.
No.
Thank you, Fernandez.
Night, everyone.
Bye.
Good night.